Now presenting Mr. Mike Coyne, Governor's Hurricane Conference Board member representing the National Weather Service.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our next award is the Tropical Meteorology Award. It's presented to an individual or organization that has made outstanding or substantial contributions to the advancement and knowledge, application, or understanding of the hurricane forecasting and warning process in the state of Florida. Since 2004, Mr. Mike Boylan has been educating people about trends, model runs, and everything else tropical weather related through his website. He does not forecast, but his dedication and contributions to the citizens of Florida and providing tropical weather information in layman's terms, helping to explain what the forecast trends mean and how to follow all the extensive maps, charts, and graphs located on his website, Mike's weather page, aka spaghettimodels.com. The 2021 Tropical Meteorology Award goes to Mike Boylan of Mike's weather page.
Just click on Mike's page, jump on the nation. Well, there'll always be some haters. They don't understand. Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. Then he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
All right, what's up? Didn't know if we should play the music or not, but hey, music's a tradition, and we got to keep things routine here. The Daily Brew, we've been all going through a lot of hurricanes together. Okay, started streaming live back in 2016. That's when we had Matthew, and we have covered every storm since then together, right here in this chair. We've grown a lot over the years. 2.1 million now. I can't believe it, but crazy. All right, so this is going to be kind of a just data-driven live. I'm at the point of passing the baton. That's what I call it. You know, I love the long-range track. I love to speculate. I love to look at 10 days, 15 days. That's what we do. But when we're within 2 days now, it's getting real. It's getting real. It's getting so real that when they ordered evacuations today in Pinellas, I was driving down to Drew Garabo's show and John Sinning. It was weird. Gas stations, lines a mile long. Howard Franklin Bridge stopped. Cops here in Oldsmar going around with their PAs telling everybody they must evacuate. You know, it's real. And we'll get into all that. So again, I don't look at comments. I apologize. There's a bazillion of them. I thank everybody for tuning in. But I just got to focus, and this is what people are here for. Most people want the latest on the hurricane. So, who am I? I'm Mike. You know, listen, I love this shirt. Got it from Lauren down in Wink News. Sunny days ahead. We have sunny days ahead. You can count on that. I'm not a meteorologist, weather blogger. Got to put that out there. I know new people coming in. Old people get tired of me saying it. New people, I am not the National Weather Service. I am not National Hurricane Center. Okay. Please refer to them for anything official. At this point, you should be listening to your local county EOCs, number one. National Weather Service, tied for number one. How about that? And, of course, National Hurricane Center, a three-way tie. Should be those three, just 3 letters each. EOC, NWS, NHC. That's who you should be listening to. And maybe MWP. I don't know. This is what it looks like. Holy cow, man. Record-breaking almost, okay? This is under 900 millibars, okay? Crazy. So, what's it going to do? How bad's it going to get? No one knows. It is scary. I will admit, I didn't know what we were going to talk about. And it hit me talking to Drew and John today. I need to look at this storm from the outside looking in. Because I have a feeling that when it's affecting your hometown, you almost get into denial. Compared to if you were covering it for somebody else. So I'm going to walk away from it being in Oldsmar and show you what I see, what the models are showing, and what we could probably likely expect, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. But that's what it looks like. They don't get any more classic looking than that. It absorbed that area to the front today. It's going through an eyewall replacement, which means it's going to get bigger as far as size. Okay, the hurricane hunters just noted that the eyewall might be expanding to 20 some miles maybe. That's going to make it weaken for a while. Good news, yes. Bad news, it sometimes rebounds and re-strengthens. So wider system is expected. It wasn't expected now. This was not supposed to happen. It was supposed to be 120 miles an hour tonight, not whatever the heck it is now. What is it, 160 or 80? I don't even know. I stopped. Once it hit Cat 5, I stopped watching it. All right, so Mike's Weather Page is more than just social media. A lot of folks don't even know that I have a website. Mike's Weather Page is this site, spaghettymodels.com. There's a lot of information on here, all kinds of graphics that you could hopefully use at your fingertips. A lot of official information. We have great tools from Tropical Tidbits and Weather Nerds on here and others. So there it is. 3 links on here I want everybody to be aware of. And I circled them 1, 2, 3. Number 1, in the state of Florida. Okay, click on that number 1. We have the Florida Division of Emergency Management. They have a whole section dedicated to Hurricane Milton. Press releases, orders, evacuation assistance. If you need help evacuating, if you need help assistance, they have Uber. They have not a million, but a lot of information to help people evacuate. Very important. Anything people ask questions, state information line, your county EOC offices, all this stuff. The questions you're probably asking me, you can find out right here. Okay, your local counties, EOC departments, they're number 1 right now. They have the departments. This is what they train for all year long. Okay, they're the experts for your county. Click on that. There's your emergency managers, everything. There's maps. There's just so much stuff. Traffic, food, mobile. So anyway, floridadisaster.org. There's a link on my site. Very important information. The second link on my site, number 2, your National Weather Service local offices. Okay, you click on that. This is what you got. Miami, Tallahassee, Melbourne, Jacksonville, Tampa, Charleston, and Key West. Why Charleston? Well, because you're going to have the dirty side wrapping up that way. But there's your local statements. Threats and impacts is a very valuable tool showing you worst case scenarios, but this is the map I just shared earlier. If you want to kind of get an idea on wind threats, storm surge, rains, tornadoes, there you go. That's on that National Weather Service. And the other one here, number 3, is this link right here, National Weather Service Hurricane Plan and Prepare. Anything you want to know about how to prepare, how to evacuate, hazards, homes, insurance, how to get information. Everything's right here. So if you're new to hurricanes, very valuable link, okay? So please read it if you're curious as the storm is coming fast. There's what it looks like, and it's record-breaking. So here you go. So far, it is the 5th lowest pressure ever recorded. Might be the fastest rapidly intensifying, I'm not sure, but in recent years, we have the most recent was Rita and Wilma for pressure. So we've had 20 years since anything's been even that close in pressure drop for the Gulf. Katrina was 902. Camille was 900. So that's, got some big name storms here that it's beat out. Now here's the latest track. I love the new link here, the new colors showing you inland effects. We're going to get a new one of these at 11 p.m. Eastern. What does this hatched area mean? Well, it means two things. It's an awesome tool. The hatched area means that you're currently under a blue tropical storm warning, but you're also under a hurricane watch. Hurricane watches on the East Coast will probably turn to warnings maybe at 11. Everything goes out in 48 hours, 36 hours. So probably going to be a whole new zip code of cell phones going off, area codes. Everybody's phones go off exactly the same time when they issue these warnings. So they go all the way to Jacksonville. This thing's going to exit the state as a hurricane, and it's going to wrap around and bring you dirty side. Remember we talked about it today, the dirty side. The dirty side's the north side on the exit. As the storm approaches, somewhere down here, we're going to start getting storms doing this. This is how it's going to look. Rotating storms are going to be coming in. Okay, when we exit, it's the opposite. Storms are going to be coming around and coming in off the Atlantic coast. So as the storm swings counterclockwise, it builds energy across the water, both sides, and gets into there. So anytime the system rotates over land, you get a little less action here across this direction. But sometimes we'll get a tail too. So, don't be surprised if our system's here and it's big. We still have some little tails coming through maybe Thursday, late Friday, a little bit. But it'll be long gone. It's going out of here. It might bring a little action to Bermuda as a subtropical system, but it'll be racing fast. It'll be weakening by Bermuda. But we got a new one of these at 11. Look at M. There's an M here over Tampa Bay area. Now, anybody downplaying this system, I don't know. So here's me looking from the outside in. If anybody that was going to get a major hurricane landfall, it's serious. Okay? You don't downplay a major hurricane landfall. Tampa Bay area has never seen a direct hit in anybody's lifetime. We've seen skirts. We've seen Irma go up the middle of the state. Irma had a tremendous amount of damage, but it was only, a 1, and it was weakening, and it was in Lakeland, Polk County. This is a direct hit coming in off of the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to be weakening a little bit, but like I said, I don't want to use the word weakening. It's still a major hurricane expected, okay? That video I showed at the beginning was a Category 1 this season, Beryl. You see what it did? 100 campers on their side, houses with roofs ripped off, surge. I mean, it didn't look like a Category 1. So anyway, that's official. Major hurricane. Serious, okay? Very serious. Major hurricane. I don't care. There's no weak major hurricane. There's a little hope. Maybe it would weaken. But there's also some models that saying that it's not going to weaken. It could still be stronger than what the NHC is showing. So we have to watch this close. There's really, and look at the cones getting tighter. If you're new to this, I know this is like a broken record, but it's the number one misconception of everything. The cone is where the eye could go. Okay, the cone has nothing to do with impacts. We all get stuck on that center line when we get so many effects outside the cone. Here's the cone. Look at this. We got areas outside that cone that are going to be getting nasty weather, tornadoes, surge, flooding rains. So cone is just where the eye can go, not the impact zone. And we got tropical storm warnings all the way up to freaking Big Bend area, like Tallahassee. Close to Tallahassee. It might not be quite Tallahassee, but areas that just had Helene Big Bend has tropical storm warnings. So look at all these effects from the Keys to the tip of Florida, Georgia line. A lot of folks. So we're going to have new warnings issued probably at 11. Here's what it looks like on zoom.earth. Now I wanted to show you these points here. So it's expected to be a 185. What is it now? 180. I can't even believe that. 180 mile an hour. Geez, I thought it was 160. I can't even fathom a 180 mile an hour hurricane right now. 180 mile an hour hurricane. Say that over and over again. Supposed to intensify maybe a little more. It's going through an eyewall replacement. It's going to weaken a little bit though. How much? Who knows? 175? 160? What worries me is the stronger it is now, does it really weaken that enough to even worry about? Then it's going to start getting some dry air. Here's 2 p.m. on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Wednesday, 1:45, and then they expect 1:25 after it makes landfall. So it could be a little stronger before landfall. Landfall will weaken it a little bit. That's considered over Tampa Bay. But the important thing to note is it's still going to be 85 miles an hour way off the Atlantic side. And talking to Kevin Guthrie today, by the way, huge day for Mike's Weather Page. We had Kevin Guthrie on for a good 30 minutes. The director of Florida Division of Emergency Management came to our page, did a CNN hit, did a Fox hit, did Tom and Dan today, did Drew Garabo today. It was a busy day, a couple radio shows. But one thing Kevin Guthrie brought up is we could see Cat 2 winds in Orlando. I mean, that is not what you are used to. I mean, we're going to see a large area of winds, possibly hurricane force winds. And that's right from his mouth. 105. That was before this thing even got to where it's at now. So who knows? But, if it's going to be 125 mile an hour in Tampa, it doesn't take much for these winds to extend inland. So we'll see. All important 11 o'clock advisories coming out. Every 6 hours is beginning more believable. Okay, we can't put our heads in the sand and pretend this ain't happening. I mean, this is once. These don't happen every day. This is serious. I mean, we know it's serious. It goes to an eyewall replacement. It's going to get a little bigger, and that's going to open up that wind field and affect more people. So track has been pretty solid. Remember last night we were talking about the higher resolution models going a little north of the operation models. Well, there's a lot of discussion about that, the way they read the eyewall, and they kind of went up to the operational models. So there's that. If you want to look at it a little closer here, let me show you really close on the latest zoomed in, just to show you how much it did shift from last night. Pretty significant shift, actually. Now we're smack dab over Tampa Bay again. So we'll see at 11 what they think, but there is the latest. And again, one thing that's tricky with these points is you kind of have to bend them. So in reality, it could be more like that as it curves, But again, we're talking miles. It does affect surge, yes. But surge is going to be the big question. What really happens? And we got some big numbers predicted. There's hope that, if this thing curves, maybe some won't get some, but then others get some. So you take away maybe here, then it's added over here. That's the problem. So we don't put our pom-poms out because what shifts from here to here or here to here, there's going to be a lot of surge for somebody. And currently, they got some big numbers. Let me show you what they got predicted in a second. So key messages are very important. This is right from the National Weather Service, National Hurricane Center advisory. Just life-threatening storm surge, destructive waves for the Yucatan, obviously. It's going to grow in size, meaning not speed, but it's going to grow in diameter. Dangerous hurricane approaches Florida. Large area destructive storm surge will occur on the west coast of Florida Wednesday. they urge residents that are told to evacuate to do so now, immediately. Hurricane force winds are expected across west coast of Florida. It is expected to remain a hurricane as it crosses the Florida Peninsula. That means hurricane winds. Big gusts across the entire Florida Peninsula. Heavy rain, obviously. Serious rain. So, using pretty strong language there. Timing slowed down a little bit. Now we're looking at maybe an overnight landfall. Close. So, the little tidbit of the day is this. Every time we have a destructive storm, they retire the name. Well, Michael was retired. That was obviously a destructive storm, and it was replaced with Milton. This is the first time they used the word Milton, or the name Milton. Michael made landfall October 10th, and there's a chance that Milton could make landfall as an October 10th storm. So, Mother Nature has a weird way of repeating herself. Where'd you hear that before? Wednesday, 8 a.m. now. So pretty much Wednesday, things really start to go downhill. Now here's that threat map I showed you. Again, on that link here, if you want to look at them for your area, National Weather Service local offices, you click on that and you can see stuff like that. So I'm not going to show that. Here's what I was so worried about today at the 5 o'clock advisory. So with a little bit of tick to the north, a little bit stronger system, they upped the surge pretty considerably. 10 to 15 foot in purple. That is catastrophic. Like our area has not seen in a lifetime. When I say our area, I live here, so. And that includes Tarpon all the way down to Inglewood, not just Tampa. Now, a little shift here, a little shift there, changes the big numbers. And you can't forget the red areas, 5 to 10 feet. Places like, Crystal River, dealing with surge, and Homosassa and all these places now. This is like their fourth time now dealing with a surge, man. We had Debbie, and we had Idalia, and we had Helene, and now we have, Milton. So crazy. Same south of here, 4 to 7, all the way down to Naples area. 6 to 10, Bonita Beach. Now we're getting surge on the East Coast. Remember I was saying the dirty side? This thing exits. Guess what? All this now becomes surge, 3 to 5 foot. And we get waves on top of surge. It adds up. Surge is this, waves are that. So wherever this thing decides to go, we have significant issues, because not only do you have the bulge of water that's coming in, pushing as the storm approaches, then we get these feeder bands, 100 mile an hour wind gusts plus, pushing the water on top of the surge. So the surge is here, then you get these winds. That's why the south side, or the whatever side the storm is, you're going to get the massive surge on the south side. I don't know about going this way. Let's still be the northeast side, but so anyway, this is not Helene. There's going to be people that have double the numbers, unfortunately. And I did that video earlier from Oldsmar. We just have street after street after street after street lined up with people's everything they own out there for pickup. And I can't imagine what that's going to look like if we get that surge. That stuff's just going to start floating around. It's going to be a freaking mess. I mean, everybody's got it all piled up nice, right? That surge is going to come up. It's going to lift everything up. And when that surge goes out, it's just going to leave it behind. And there's going to be crap everywhere. You talk about cleanup. Roads ain't going to be passable. Some of y'all have never been in a major hurricane before. There are going to be trees down like you've never seen. Okay, we have not had a strong system since Irma in our area. This whole I-4 corridor. You got trees that are going to be waterlogged from the saturated grounds. It does not take much. Hell, I got a tree on the side over here that I staked years ago, and it pulled out the other day. I haven't done that. Everything is so wet, man. I just got my storm chaser truck trapped. I had to get towed out. I was doing a video. Everything's so wet, man. These trees are gonna, so that's a huge thing. We're gonna get a power outage map that's gonna be like huge, like, it's gonna say widespread. Hell, it might even go to the east. I don't know, but we're gonna see a significant amount of power outages. Okay, I don't think people realize that's gonna happen. Trees down, telephone poles are gonna be snapped. There's gonna be wires everywhere. We're gonna have pool cages gone. We're going to have garage doors blown in. We're going to have inland flooding with wind that's going to get into people's doorways. That's why you need to sandbag or use tiger dams to seal your doors. I mean, these are things, man. Isolated inland flooding. We're going to have cars flooded. It's just all this is going to be stuff that a lot of our folks have never seen in our area. Any of these I-4 corridor areas, if that storm takes a direct hit somewhere in this neck of the woods. So surge is big. This map is a worst case scenario map. I question it because I just don't know. But it is on the National Hurricane Center website. If you want to look at it, it's called Storm Surge Inundation. You got to just know it's the worst case scenarios. My area, this is based on the current speed. We got that's, I don't even know where Tampa Road's at, and this goes all the way down here, Sarasota, Fort Myers. So these are worst case scenarios, but they kind of tell you it's possible. And we did see these come true during Helene, so let's hope not. Good news. I will admit I was a little surprised. I pulled up to Clearwater Beach and we're only showing 3 foot. That could happen if this track does, stays where it's at and we have a little bit of surge on the north side. But this is not official. So there is good news that we could see some levels not that great on the north side of center. These are fluctuating around. The St. Pete is around 7 foot. It's still what it wasn't during Helene, but I'm just cautious of this. Surge is so hard to predict, but I'm going to watch this Clearwater one. 11 o'clock will tell you everything. If they nudge it north, then guaranteed more surge. But they keep nudging it south. That's unfortunately more surge for Bradenton, Sarasota, Manatee, Venice area. And I'm going to show you right here. The Sierra map kind of shows you this. Now, I'm not sure where they get their information from, but it's a good tool. It kind of paints the worst case scenario, and if this makes a lot of sense to me. Heavy surge, unfortunately, when the storm's coming around here, and that's a lot of population. Sarasota, Siesta Key, all the way to Venice. Unfortunately, maybe even parts of Tampa. But, the eye itself brings in a lot of surge to St. Pete. But we're looking here, we're not seeing like we saw with Helene, because as the storm passed by, it was pushing water in. So this is, bad for some, good for others if this happens. But again, we need to stick to National Hurricane Center on those predictions. So there's hope for some here, that we won't see worst case numbers. But like I said, if we have less here, it means more down here. And unfortunately, we have a lot of folks in this area. This is very popular. Longboat Key, Braden Beach, Anna Maria Island, Sarasota, Siesta Key, Bayshore Gardens. This is my hometown. I was born in Bradenton, so we just have to see wherever that track decides to go. And we're still seeing some huge numbers in Tampa. That water in the red, that's 10, 12, 15 foot right there. So trust the National Hurricane Center, but for hope, if you're living areas that were already hit hard with surge, you have this possibility that maybe you won't get as much as it might look like. So still get the winds. Surge is the tricky part with the track. And again, the way the National Hurricane Center does these points here, it's kind of tricky. It's kind of like a more of a turn, like that. So anyway, there's surge is very fluid, no pun intended. Somebody's going to get a lot. Some are going to get very little that might have expected a lot. And that's a good thing, okay? So there's hope for that. Rainfall, obviously huge. We got double-digit rains here across the north part of Florida. We got a little bit of wind shear coming in at the last second, so it's going to put a lot of rain in there. That's obviously. Tornadoes start tomorrow, Tuesday. This is your Storm Prediction Center map. And we're going to start to see feeder bands coming in wherever our storm is, starting to come in early tomorrow. Might be overnight Tuesday, but we could see some bands here as early as later Tuesday, into the Tuesday night. And then the big stuff comes in on Wednesday. So tornadoes are part of tropical systems. And notice, even though our system might be doing that, this is where all the big stuff, Key West, South Florida, this is where they fuel for strong storms. And I would not be surprised if we go to Thursday, we see an area up here in South Carolina, Georgia, and northern Florida as our system exits, and we start getting some feeder bands that start coming in on Thursday. We'll have those maps tomorrow. Tracks, tropical tidbits. Let's see, 18Z. We got 00Z suite out. Let me do a refresh. This is drum roll time. We'll see if there's any shifts. Now, there's discussion now why the operation models are doing this and the hurricane models are doing that. Good discussion there. Kind of saw that with Helene. So I think the NHC is a little bit in the middle here. Oh, man, what happened there? Did it go up or down? I can't. It looked like it went up, didn't it? It didn't really move much. Maybe it went. Well, the outliers went up, but it got tighter. Maybe they went down a hair. I don't know. Very little change. I mean, track. What we look for here is steering currents, and it is so solid. It's very rare to see tracks this consistent 2 days out. We always say, though, 2 days out, more than likely, if you're in that center line 2 days out, more than likely it's not going to be there at landfall. That's why we look at that cone. The cone. But there you go. There's still large, there's still, as far as direct impact, there's still, a huge population difference between the outer, Tampa down Fort Myers area. So, everybody should be watching. Inland effects are going to be the same regardless. Landfall really affects the surge, who gets the big surge and who gets those big winds initially. But like I said, the Hurricane Center is saying hurricane all the way through the state. That means hurricane winds, sustained winds through the state. That is what they're saying. Some ensembles here from the GFS. These are on Weather Nerds. Just keeping up with the same idea. Black line is the mean line. That's kind of same spot. The Euro's back on track here with the Weather Nerds page, and it's a little south for you Euro fans. So still keeping Manatee, Sarasota areas. Such a slight shift could change so much for both sides of the bay. But notice it's getting tighter, and I believe it. We're not looking at any outliers right now that really stand out. I mean, the one thing that's got me kind of the hurricane models here. Let's take a look at the latest hurricane models. These are the ones that are kind of getting a little bit more respect here. These are on tropical tidbits. Latest H-Wharf just came out. Let's take a look at it, and it's showing the 9:05 hurricane tomorrow morning. It starts to weaken it. Now watch the size. See where we're at now? Just watch the overall size get bigger. And that's why we don't react to small shifts. That's still 945 millibar. 10 meter winds, 110 knots. So this is a massive Cat 4 range possibly Cat 4 range. And really the worst case scenario for surge into Tampa Bay would be a track just to your north. That's one model, not a forecast. The latest HAS A showing a little bit more weakening, not much, still Cat 3, but smack dab right in the bay there. Notice the exit. When we exit, this is what we're worried about. Let me go back to the H wharf. When we exit, it's going so fast that it can't weaken that fast. So unfortunately, overnight, Thursday, maybe now more into Thursday morning, we're going to see a 940, 950 millibar hurricane around Lakeland and Orlando. These are huge winds across a large area. We're going to have tremendous trees down, damages, power. I mean, we don't get Cat 2 hurricanes in Orlando if that's what's going to happen. Now on the exit, it's still strong, 969. This is where we start to worry about this now. These storms are going to start wrapping around these feeder bands, and then we get some big action, the dirty side, the north side. So this is going to be the secondary thing to watch Thursday as our storm exits. I'm worried about beach erosion. I'm worried about what happened with Ian and Nicole. We're going to have a lot of water pushing up here along the Florida northeast coast and Georgia. So Savannah and Brunswick, maybe even parts of South Carolina. As this thing rotates up, man, we're going to see impacts with surge and potential coastal areas. Let's see, HAS A. It was a HAS A. Let's look at HMON Milton. It is showing a 916 north of Tampa Bay, 956. A little weakening, but so these are trending still north of the operation models. HAS B showing almost right into Pinellas County. So I caution anybody thinking, that things are guaranteed one way or another when we have 4 very well performing models showing Tampa or north a little bit, and then we have operational models a little south. So I still think we're not going to see much of a change at 11. Now your GFS has been really good this season. Yeah, right. Where did it go? I think something. Oh, it only went out 6 hours. I was like, okay. Oh, there's 174 though. No, that ain't right. Okay, well, it's still running. Let's see the main operation run. Let's see the latest Euro real quick, and then here's a 12Z. What the hell's going on here? Oh, there we go. Okay, so the Euro. See, the Euro is all messed up. See, this is why you can't trust intensity with any other models right now. They do not initialize at all correctly. This is initializing at 988. It's not 988. It's freaking, 897? I mean, it's off almost 100 millibar. So this changes things. Stronger systems tend to pull more north. So it's way the heck off. But the fact is it's showing Tampa Bay. Let's see what the latest GFS looks like. The 18Z. Since it's been such a good model, we'll take a look at it. It's showing right into Tampa Bay here. See, I can't get any closer. Here we go. It's right in Tampa Bay, so not really seeing anything that's going to shift to south. I really don't. If anything, it might shift north a little bit more. A little bit more. But we got another day and a half. 2 days. So things are going to change. Like I said, we can't get emotionally involved with changing 6-hour focal points. Here's what I learned with Helene. The global models were west, these hurricane-specific models were east, and the H-Wharf, the H-Mon, they were very good. Okay. Francine. Was it Francine? Hell, I don't even know anymore, man. I can't even remember the damn names after a while. It's either, I've been doing this way too long. What the hell was the storm? Hell, I can't even remember now. I always called it Florence. It's Francine, right? Francine. Francine went over New Orleans, and it wasn't supposed to. Beryl went more east than it was supposed to. So we have a battle this year with models. We have these operational models which seem to be not doing a very good job compared to the hurricane models. So the hurricane models are a little more north. The operational models are a little more south. And I believe earlier today, they even discussed that. I believe they discussed that. Now they're doing the consensus of the GFS, Euro, and regional hurricane models. See, and this is what they talk about. This is something I've never seen them talk about. The track is closer to the model fields rather than the model trackers. Model fields are the higher hurricane model specifics. And they just said the model trackers appear too far south. That would be Canadian, Icon. So it's tricky. But intensity is going to be tricky. The one model that I'm really worried about is this one right here. Now I'm going to refresh this. The reason I'm worried is, look at these timestamps. Good question, Shelley. It's going to be a lot wider, so it really is a moot point. I know everybody loves to know that, but it's going to get double the size. But we'll look at it. But most of your hurricane-specific models are showing you a Cat 4 at 48 hours from now. See that? And a lot of them are keeping it a Cat 5 for a little while more. So that's what we got to really worry about. Now I'm going to hit refresh here. Keep your eye open and see what it looks like. Here we go. Ready? And maybe went down some. That's good. All right. So we are, unfortunately, still showing Cat 4 range with a few 5s. So Cat 4, landfall, unfortunately. They're not showing this thing weakening very fast. This is what you got to worry about. This is 48 hours, 72 hours. It's not doing that. So these models are showing it maintaining Category 3, 2, 1 through the state, as indicated by the official forecast and National Hurricane Center. Shay says a lot of questions on the East Coast. All right, let me show you that dirty side again. I've been talking a lot about it, but I think it gets lost probably in the mumble jumble. But flooding maps, obviously here, everybody in the red, that's your concern. This is Thursday mainly, Wednesday into Thursday. Serious flooding possible. Jacksonville down all the way past Orlando. Some of the rain maps are showing the heavy concentration here in orange. These are double digits, 8 to 12 inches. Okay, let's look at, we haven't looked at individual rain maps here, but let me take a look at the latest GFS and Euro. We can look at those. They tell you, they'll tell you more isolated chances, which are going to be, we're going to see double digits somewhere. So here you go. This is what you always worry about. Okay. Probably didn't talk about this enough because I'm like everybody else. I just can't believe what we're seeing with wind speed. But if you follow me, then you know this already. But this rain map right here, this is a generalization rain map. This is not showing you worst case scenario, isolated, rain trains. Go to the Euro right here, and there's your isolated rain trains. 20 inches showing up for somebody. No, we don't know who's going to get that because you're going to have rotating, bands coming in off of the Atlantic. But you're going to get somebody that's going to get a surprise. And always happens. So these individual rain band trains are very bad. We got one to the north possibly. It all depends, you know. Don't know where these are going to be. This just shows you the potential is there. The juice is in the atmosphere. Okay, there's a lot of precipitable water out there, and the GFS showing max 18 inches. And look at that. So as our storm exits the dirty side, I've been talking about this dirty side. I don't think anybody else is. I'm really concerned about the lack of idea that we can see some pretty big damages from our exit from the rains wherever they set up. Surge is already out there. Surge maps showing you 3 to 5 foot, and that's significant because again, waves and winds are added to surge. Check out this. So let's look at the animated Euro wave map, not the Caribbean. What the hell am I doing here? Gulf of Mexico. Where the hell's the Gulf of Mexico? There we go. So maximum, well, let's do the other one. This is easier to see, I think. Let me go back here. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Ah, man, we got to hit reset. Euro. All right, so we'll do the animated one, timestamp. So as our system develops, this is a wave map, okay? Now watch this. Max height, 45. 61. 63. 63 feet. 64 feet. There's 60 feet seas just off our coast, okay? 60 feet. That's what's driving this surge. That's going to be a ball of water being pushed. Katrina was a weakening system. It hit only as a 3. I just hate it when everybody downplays a system when, you know, Florence downgraded to a 1. And it's like breaking news. But Katrina was a 3. And it was 28-foot storm surge. Not to say it's going to be 28. I'm just saying it was a 3. Ike was a 2. Downgrading to a 2. But it was 20 foot. But a lot of this is because when it's a 920 millibar system, it's pushing a lot of water. And that water is going to continue to move with our system. So think about this. So it might be really strong down here, but it's just pushing all that water. Now watch what happens on the Atlantic coast. We start to get that. 57 foot, okay? That's going to be helping bring in waves, coastal impacts, beach erosion. That's the north side, dirty side. All right. Think of Ian, think of Nicole. Those are worst case scenarios, but they were just tropical storms when they exited our state. Ian was a tropical storm when it exited. Think about that. They're calling this to still be a hurricane when it exits. So I think we're going to see significant northeast impacts for Florida. So anyway, where's it going after Florida? Nowhere. Maybe Bermuda. Let's take a look at Bermuda real quick. I know we got people in Bermuda watching. At least it's going to be subtropical by then. Tropical storm, that is. So it won't be too bad. It'll be passing by fast. Hopefully. So there's just going to be a mess. This is Friday. So it'll be entangled with a frontal line. So maybe Friday some rains. Nothing's organized. Sloppy. So nothing for Bermuda that's going to be anything to worry about. It's just going to be tore up by then. So here's some of this. This just gives you an idea of the rain. You know, there's our center, but look. That's why we're getting these tremendous rains in off of the Atlantic. There's a lot of juice up there, and we're going to have a lot of wind. So there's going to be a lot of north action on this system that some aren't expecting. This is, I think this is, I don't know, is rainfall rate? I don't know what these are. These numbers here. There's 10 inches. Palm Coast, 10 inches. Spring Hill, 7 inches. Euro showing isolated, 15. So, all right. Well, listen, we'll be live in the morning. My advice is, if you're told to evacuate, give it some serious thought, please. I've talked to too many people that lost loved ones during Ian that didn't evacuate. Water, it's terrible. So water, man, 90% of all hurricane deaths are water related. So stay away from that water. If you're told to evacuate, give it some serious thought. And that's about it for me. I think I went over all the impacts and stuff. I got Chili's waiting for me. Went a little more than 30 minutes. We live in the morning at 9:19 Eastern. Thank you so much to the new followers, man. We are going crazy. Been doing this a long time, 04. So nothing new. No dogs tonight. I sent the girls to Tallahassee. They took the dogs. I got nobody. So hopefully you got some great information out of that. And, thanks to Shelly on the other side of the coast helping out. Thanks to Julie and Phil. And we're just a little 4-piece band here doing our thing. All right. So you might see me on Fox tomorrow and CNN again. Thanks to Tom and Dan and Drew Garabo and John there for having me on today. And there you go. So I guess it really hasn't set in with me yet, the reality. But major hurricane is a major hurricane. And like I said, looking from the outside in, it's a serious deal. Here's the latest wind map from National Hurricane Center, National Weather Service, showing you gusts. Now, it's hard to look at this one because it does it in timestamps, but just for example, 131. Now this is going to be the same trek. It's just the way it looks is just deceiving, but 109, 107, 131. These are wind gusts. You go to Florida, again, you connect the dots here. These will be filled with the same exact, pattern, but we're looking at this white color right here. We could have 95, 100 mile an hour wind gusts all the way through the state, and they're calling for that. 100 mile an hour winds all the way through the state. I don't think a lot of y'all understand what we're fixing to see here. Irma was a wake-up call on only Category 1. This might be 3. Heck, it could be more. It could be less, hopefully. But look at it. It's starting to get bigger, too. Oh, Shelley wanted me to measure that thing. Well, it's going to get bigger, but look at that. It's not a little storm. It's not a little storm anymore. That's a pretty... And remember, it's going to double in size. It's going to go through a transitional change. It's doing an eyewall replacement currently right now. So let's take a look at it. Everybody likes to know the size of it, but it's going to get bigger. It's going to, it's going to double maybe in size. So we got to be careful. This is not final. I suspect it's about 200 miles wide, maybe. Let's take a look here if this thing pops up. There we go. Look at that. Man, see that lightning? Man, anytime you see lightning in the eye of a hurricane, it's strengthening. $234. What do you want to go to here? That's 381. How about here? 346. So what do y'all think? That's 346. That's 400. So even the core's 250. 279. That's big. I mean, that's big. Ain't no little hurricane. The eye's little, but it's only a 4 mile wide eye, but I believe I think they said it's going to be 20 something now. It's the outer eye ends up eating the little eye, and we get a new eye, and it's probably going to lose a little strength, but it also can get it back. It gets bigger. Timing is everything, but It's going to go through these cycles and unfortunately get bigger along the way. When I say bigger along the way, this is what I mean. You can see it just here looking at these high resolution models. The size, if you're just looking at it like right there, this is what it is now. Look at it on approach. That's about twice the size, believe it or not. Doesn't look like much, but it is. Rain maps kind of show it too. There's that. And then it really expands big time. Look at that. So if you snapshot that, right? Look at that. We got a massive feeder band here overnight Wednesday. Those are nasty compared to that. So it's going to get bigger. There is dry air. This is what we hope for. Look at the humidity levels. What I'm seeing a trend, though, is less and less dry air on approach. This is not a good sign. That's why the H-Warp's keeping it 945. The H-Mon, there's your dry air. So we got a full circle of moisture. And once that dry air wraps into the core, it starts to help beaten it up a little bit. But then we got 956. So, that's what we hope for, dry air. That'll help weaken it. There's a lot of dry air on the Hass B. Still 954, though. It's deceiving. The winds will still be there. It's just the hopefully it'll be a little weaker. But again, the pressures don't lie. The pressures are still strong. So, and then the GFS here. I don't think it ran the whole run yet. Let's see if it did. This is what the GFS is showing. Very right in this Tampa Bay. This is the 18Z. So it hasn't backed down yet. It's got Tampa Bay on its mind. And see, it didn't initialize either. It's something's going on here. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the hell's going on. They initialize at 982 pressure. That's just bad data in, bad data out. It's not going to accurately predict the strength, and it's not going to accurately predict track if it's a stronger system. But see, our system now is almost, this is 100 millibars off almost. I don't understand it. They're supposed to be fed the data, and so this is off. I mean, it's showing 957, but it's saying it initialized at 982. So but the important thing is it's not showing it really weakening on landfall. It's still keeping a wet pocket. So very concerning. Not seeing any sign of this thing disappearing. In the scheme of things, it's got a lot of moisture. And anytime we get a front off to the north on these things, this is not a really good map. But basically, this area right here feeds it, pulls the moisture down. My pointer ain't working, but. And that little system out in front, our CAG system, believe it or not, is marked by the NHC. It's crazy. This area right here, this is the one that we watched come up that we thought was going to be like Helene. It's actually marked by the NHC now as a possible development. But all this moisture is going to help keep things juicing. A lot of juice. So there's not a lot of dry air. Look at that. We got two spinners, man. Isn't that the weirdest thing ever? Very, 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 very weird. What is up with that, man? Crazy. Crazy. This is feeding this system, man. That's what's crazy. This moisture here is wrapping around and helping this system. It's crazy. Look at that. That's why, we're seeing unprecedented. It's all because of that CAG. The Central American gyre, man. It did exactly what it was going to do. It just unbelievable. That's why we have almost a record for the Gulf. This two lows like that running parallel together. When do you see that every day? Never. All right. That's it for me. I will be live in the morning at 9:19 Eastern, okay? And we got an 11 o'clock update I'm very anxious about. So I'll be posting that here We'll see if we have any wiggles, wobbles, strengthening, weakening. I suspect no. Maybe a tick north. Maybe a little stronger. I don't know. We'll see. Very little changes. All right.